Hi folks, welcome to Open Source Options. In the last video, I showed you how to delineate stream channels in QGIS using the grass tools. Today we're going to go through the same process, but this time using the SAGA tools, which I do prefer just a little bit. Now, before we get started, there are two things you need to do. First, you need to make sure you have a digital elevation model available and pre-processed. And by pre-processed, I mean clipped to your area of interest and projected into a projected coordinate reference system like UTM coordinates, for example. You can see I have that here. I'm doing this for a small area so that the operations run quickly and you don't spend a lot of time waiting for my computer to run tasks. The second thing you need to have is you need to have the SAGA Next Gen toolset added to QGIS. Now, these tools come pre-installed with QGIS, but they're not added to the processing toolbox by default. It's very easy to do, and I have a video that shows you how to do it, and I will link that in the description. In the description, I will also link a video showing you how you can go and download elevation data online if you want to use data from the U.S. Geological Survey. Now that we have those things established, let's go ahead and get started processing our digital elevation model to create stream channels. We're going to open the SAGA Next Gen tools. We're going to come down to terrain analysis and open this. And here we are going to use the fill sinks tool. We can use fill sinks or fill sinks XXL. It doesn't really matter. So let's start out with fill sinks. We're going to change this minimum slope degree to 0.01 just to ensure that we don't have any flat areas. We only need to save the field DEM. I will save this to a file. You will notice that when you save this, you're only able to save this as an SDAT file or the SAGA data file. That's just fine. We'll use that format. And I'm going to call this field underscore YT for the YouTube demonstration. We will now click save. And we can save these other files if we want, but I'm just going to turn those off. We don't need them for the remainder of this tutorial. Let's go ahead and click run. This will calculate relatively quickly on the small DEM I have. And there you can see that we now have this field DEM available. With this field DEM, we can now move on to calculating the flow accumulation. You can see there are different options available here. You can really choose any of these. We'll take a look at these. If we have the one step, you can see we have options for pre-processing and sink removal. We can do a recursive version, which gives us, we can add weights into that. We have different options here. The one that I generally use is just this parallelizable one. It's a very simple one to use. We just give it our filled elevation model. We choose a method. We can choose D8, D infinity, or multiple flow direction. Let's just go ahead and do D8. It's probably the simplest of all those. If you're not sure about the differences between D8, D infinity, and MFD, and you want to know, leave a comment below and I can do a video on that. And now we'll save this to a file. We'll save this to accumulation underscore YT for the YouTube tutorial. Now let's go ahead and click run and wait for this to complete. It's going to take a number of passes to complete. You can see that it took 690 passes and it happened very quickly on the small area that we used here. If we zoom in, we can see those flow paths coming in nicely from our flow accumulation. Now, the next thing we need to do is determine a threshold to use to determine where our stream channels will be. The way I like to do this is I go to raster and raster calculator, and I'll pick my accumulation, and I'll use the greater than operator to find where the accumulation is greater than a certain value. Let's try 100,000 to start, and we can create an on-the-fly raster here. And so we can click OK, and that gives us this channel network here. That might be a little bit too generous of a channel layer, so let's remove that. And let's come back in and do this again. And let's try this with a value of 1 million. And we'll do it on the fly again. We'll say okay. And that's, you know, getting closer to correct. Another way I'll show you that we can do this, I'm going to remove this, is there's two ways. So one is we can use this value tool and we can see our values here, our accumulation. We can come in and we can find about where we want this to be. So we can see that here we are at, that looks like it's about 10 million there. Our symbology is not great here. If we wanted to include this channel down here, you can see we need to be at about 500,000 to include that. So maybe we'll use a threshold of 500,000. The way we can check this without doing the calculation is we can come in and we can change this to single band pseudo color. You can see here we have the spectral color ramp or the turbo color ramp. We can change this to equal interval. We can classify it. And then what I would do is I would come down and make this value about 1,000, then make this one about 10,000. We're essentially creating a log scale here. Make this about 100,000, and then do about 1 million. And then the next one I would do at 10 million. Okay, and now we can break that out into log scale, and we can come down and see where our channels are, and we can then, in association, use our value tool to come in and get a cutoff here. So we could do a cutoff of about 450,000 would get us this channel coming in here. So let's try 450,000 based on that. And to do that, to get our channels, we can now come back to the processing toolbox and we can do the channel network here. So we'll choose channel network. We're going to input our elevation, which is our filled flow direction. Our initiation grid is accumulation. We want where values are greater than, we said, 450,000. And we can leave all these defaults. Now you'll notice we have three output files. We have a channel network, a channel direction, and a channel network. There are two channel network files. One is a raster file and one is a vector file. I wish there was a little more direction about which was which. This says shapes. If we look at the Python identifier, so this is probably going to be our line. This is what we want to save. We'll save this to file. It's going to be a shape file. I'm going to click on that. So this is going to be our channel network. We'll call that channel network YouTube, and we'll click save. And we'll not save these, but we will add them so you can see what they look like. Let's go ahead and click run, and this will quickly extract those channels for us. Now we can close this. Let's turn off our accumulation. And here you can see we have our channel network. Let's just change the symbology there so that it's blue like streamlines would be. Just pop it over here. Okay, good. And now we can turn this off. You can see our channel direction raster here. And if we go to our value tool, you'll see that we've got channel direction and channel network. We have just values here, and those values I think are D8 values indicating which way the channel flows, so you could trace it if you would like. And then our channel network values, if we turn this off, we just have unique values for each channel segment on there. So here these are all 2. If we come up to this here, these are all 1. These are -1, which is going to indicate some kind of connection. It's going to indicate those connect to a different one here, because you can see we get -1 values here also. Okay, so that's how those are the kind of intermediate layers used to connect the channels. All right, but there you have it. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to turn our channel network back on, and you can see we've created that channel network. Now, really quick, let's take a look at the attribute table. Open the attribute table. Here we go. You can see we have 3 columns. We have a segment ID. If we scroll down, those are all going to be ones. We have an order, which is going to kind of tell us in the drainage network where these are. Ones are headwaters, twos happen when you have 2 ones that connect, and so on. And then we have a length for each of these. These lengths are a little, I don't think that's actually the length of the segment because these appear to be, we have 10 here. These appear to be, it's either one cell width or diagonal cell width. This would be 10 times the square root of 2. Anyway, so that's kind of strange that they have that done that way, but this stream order here can be useful. And in fact, in an upcoming video here, I'll show you how you can use stream order to symbolize your streams based on their size in the network. So streams at the bottom of the network will be wider than streams at the top of the network, and it's really easy to symbolize that way if you have an attribute like channel order. Okay, well, thanks for watching, folks. I hope you have found this useful and insightful. And between this video and the last one, I hope you're able to create your own stream network and stream channels using these available QGIS tools. Actually, before we get finished, let's try one more thing. I want to show you one more thing here. We use this channel network. We can also do channel network and drainage basins. Let's give that a try and just make sure it works out well. So here we want to grab our field layer. We don't need our flow direction. We don't need connectivity or trailer order. We don't need, these are all optional outputs. We basically input our field elevation model, and then we have all these other layers that get output. We have our channels, we have our drainage basins and our junctions. So this gives us even more information than just the stream channels. But let's go ahead and click run and take a look at the outputs we get here. Okay, so that's completed. And here you can see we get these drainage basins. Some of these drain outwards, and so we don't get a full basin on them. We can pop these channels up on top here, and you can see we get those same channels to a degree. And I should make this a little more, give this a little more contrast. I'm going to give it a different color than our others. We can keep it straight. We'll do red. Just make it a little bit thicker. Okay, and so there you can see that we now have these drainage basins for each channel segment, and this can be really useful if you're trying to do some kind of modeling. We also get junctions, which can also be useful for modeling. Okay, so just to show you that there are multiple ways to calculate this with and multiple data levels you can capture when you do this with SAGA. All right, thanks for watching. I just want to sneak in that one last little demonstration that some of you might find useful. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have questions, leave comments. If there are other videos you want to see, leave comments, and I'll catch you in the next video.